Hi, I'm Virginia and I'm here for my Modules in 9 reflection. And it asks us to describe the role of assistive technologies in the classroom. These are just devices that a student with a disability could use to help them in a classroom, such as if a student were blind, you would have some sort of device to help them be able to read, or if they were deaf, one to help them be able to hear. You could even have a student that has a physical disability where maybe they have some sort of device that helps them with mobility. What past experiences have you had with assistive technologies? I've never personally worked with those. I did work in a school last year as a para that had a classroom specifically for students with severe disabilities, and I would see them in the hallway with walking devices that they could use to get around in the hallways, or some of them had little computers that they had symbols on or words on that they could use to communicate with others. They looked like they were pretty neat, but I never really worked with those students one-on-one, so I'm not exactly sure how those worked. Out of the assistive technologies looked at this week, which did you find the most interesting and how would you use it in your teaching area? The one that I liked was the AbleNet. It was a device that had different layout keyboards that you could place in it and do different things. One of them was just a computer or a typewriter keyboard, but the part that I liked, because I would like to teach kindergarten, was that they had one that was just the ABCs. It wasn't in the layout of like a typewriter, and they also had one of numbers. And then I liked how you could set it. They had a layout that was a setup layout where you could go in and control the sensitivity of the keyboard, so that if a student were to hit, if they didn't have very good fine motor skills and they were to hit more than one key at a time, it would only type like one key instead of all of the keys around the one they were trying to type. Or if they hit, say, an S and they don't have very good control of their hand and their finger stayed on it, it wouldn't type SSSSS. It would just type the letter one time. And I did think that that would be really good with small children or with a child that has a disability where they don't have very good fine motor skills. We are to describe 3 of the 6 applications of assistive technologies and give an example of one that's not referenced in the article. And the first one that I looked at was the application that assists with existence. And these are examples of personal care, such as sleeping or feeding themselves. And most of these were low-tech type devices, such as a spoon with a very large handle on it that was easier for a person to grip. But one that I found that they didn't list was a cup that had a special lid and had a special kind of spout on it for a person with a disability to give them more independence on drinking independently, so that they did not need so much help. The second one that I looked at was the environmental interaction, and this application helps with the independence level as well. And this, some examples are adjustable desks or alternative switches that they could use to turn a computer on and off, or a light switch on and off. And then one that I found that was not listed was a foot mouse that a student that maybe didn't have any arms or maybe just didn't have hands, they could control their computer with their foot. And then the last one that I looked at was mobility. And it includes skills such as walking or being able to use the stairs. And some examples of those are wheelchairs or a cane. And then one that I found was a motorized scooter that they could use to be able to get around a little bit easier. And then the one additional assistive technology that I found that was not discussed was called Pedius. I'm not sure how you say it. It's P-E-D-I-U-S. And it's an app that a person could put on their phone, and if they are a deaf person, they are able to basically text their message into the phone, and then it goes to the person that you send it to, just like a text message, but the person that receives it, it comes to them verbally. Your message comes to them verbally so they can hear what you're saying, and then when they send it back to you, it comes to you as in a text message, even though they spoke the message instead of texted to you. And this app works both on Android and iPhone. And even though that's something I probably wouldn't specifically use in my classroom, I do think it could be used if I were to have a parent or a guardian of a student that was hard of hearing or was deaf, and it would make it a whole lot easier to communicate with that person. Well, that is my reflection for Module 9, and have a good day.